Hello, and welcome back to Marketing Research Methods, Marketing 3502. This is Dr. Maggie Bivoda, and I have prepared this PowerPoint presentation for you in which we're going to discuss surveys. Now, I can forewarn you there are quite a few slides, so I'm going to be moving through these. I think this is the meat and potatoes of marketing, but I wanted to make sure that I covered it with you. Survey research. Respondents in this particular case are people who verbally answer an interviewer's questions or provide answers to written questions. A survey, and many of us have taken those, is just a method of collecting primary data in which information is gathered by communicating with a representative sample of people. A sample survey is a survey that emphasizes contacting respondents who are a representative sample of the target population. For example, if your survey was on teaching methods, your sample survey would include respondents who are instructors, maybe high school teachers. There are advantages and disadvantages associated with surveys. The advantages of surveys: gathering information via surveys, it's quick, it's inexpensive, it's efficient, and it's accurate. The disadvantage and potential problems are if your survey is poorly designed or you improperly execute your survey. Conducting personal interviews. A personal interview is a form of direct communication in which an interviewer asks respondents questions face-to-face. It's versatile and flexible, and it's truly interactive. There are advantages to personal interviews. There's opportunity for feedback, probing complex answers, high participation. You can use props and visual aids. The length of the interview is going to be up to you. Actually, it's pretty much unlimited depending on what you want, what direction you want your interview to go. And there's a completeness of questionnaire. What are the disadvantages of personal interviews? Well, unfortunately, the interviewer can influence the interviewee in a personal interview. There is lack of privacy, meaning that the individual that's being interviewed, is not anonymous. The respondent is not anonymous. You know who they are. They're sitting right in front of you, so that's one. And of course, the cost. Because when you're doing a personal interview, it's one-on-one as opposed to a whole entire group, which would be less costly. Door-to-door personal interviews. They're personal interviews conducted at respondents' doorsteps in an effort to increase the participation rate in the survey. Callbacks attempts to contact individuals selected for a sample who were not available initially. In other words, you go through a neighborhood, you decide you want to do interviews. Unfortunately, someone is not home, and you have to return to that location at a later time or date. Now, the door-to-door interview characteristics. You have a moderate to fast speed of data collection. You're flexible in where you're going. Your geography, your geographical limitations is limited to moderate. Respondent cooperation, if they're home, generally is excellent. It's very versatile. You can ask the types of questions that you want to ask. Length, long, of course, generally of the questionnaire, and low on the non-response. The possibility of respondent misunderstanding is the lowest because you are right there and available to answer any questions. However, the degree of interviewer influence of answer is high. Why? They can read your facial cues. If you have any personal bias, that would be, it's kind of like a tell. The individuals you're interviewing might be able to figure out or decipher what you are thinking. There's moderate supervision of interviewers. Once again, the respondents is not anonymous. It's very low. Ease of callback or follow-up is difficult. And mainly, it's all related to the cost, the highest due to travel costs. Special features, visual materials may be shown or demonstrated. Extended probing is possible. Mall intercept interview characteristics. Fast speed of data collection. There may be a bit of urban bias. The respondent cooperation is usually moderate to low. Versatility of questioning is extremely versatile. The question length, moderate to long. Item non-response is medium. The possibility of a respondent misunderstanding, lowest. Once again, you're right there. The degree of interviewer influence, highest. Supervision of interviewers, moderate to high. You do know who the respondent is. There's ease of callback is a bit difficult. Cost is lower than door-to-door. And special features would be like taste tests, viewing of TV commercials possible. Personal interviews. Think of global considerations, the variations in willingness to participate, sensitivity to interview subject matter, and beliefs about appropriate business conduct. Telephone interviews. Landline phones, the mainstay of commercial survey research. There is no call legislation which has limited this capacity. For example, I can tell you in the real estate arena, if you make a call to someone who's on the no-call list, there's a fine of approximately $11,000 for that phone call. Many people do not have landlines anymore. I'd say a good percentage are starting to just have a cell phone, so they're a bit harder to reach. But during campaigns, a lot of political campaigns, you receive a lot of phone calls, I'm sure, if you have a landline. Phone interview characteristics. They give you a representative sample. The speed is fast. The cost is low. There is no face-to-face contact. Cooperation, well, that's always determined on whether or not the person is available at the time. And there are incentives to respond. Oh, we can offer you this if you take this particular survey, or we'll put you in I'd say the most common thing you see now is we'll put you in a drawing for a gift card for Amazon.com or a gift card for an iPad. Limited duration, because you're not going to stay on the phone forever, but there is a lack of visual medium, so you really can't show someone what you're talking about. There are different types of telephone interviews: central location interviewing, computer-assisted telephone interviewing, and computerized voice-activated telephone interview. So to recap the telephone interview, we know that it's very fast, and we know that, depending on when you get the individual on the phone, you're either going to have a positive response or not, depending on when you catch them. And unfortunately, well, I shouldn't say unfortunately, the ease of callback or follow-up is easy if you do need to ask them more questions. There's an average possibility that the respondent may not understand you. And there's a moderate possibility that you can influence by maybe different comments that you make that might be interpreted by the respondent. Now, there are also self-administered questionnaires. The response rate, the number of questionnaires returned or completed divided by the number of eligible people who were asked to participate in the survey. Factors that actually bias the response rate: persons who will complete the questionnaire versus those who will not, and person who filled out the survey is not really the intended subject. That could be a problem. Increasing response rates for mail surveys. Here are some things that you can do if you are doing a survey, a marketing survey, and you want to increase the number of people that actually answer you. Include a cover letter. Money helps. Money helps in the whole scheme of things generally, but money helps in this particular instance because you need more money to create something that's going to entice the reader, the potential respondent. And incentives are always nice. Interesting questions, you want to make them where they catch the reader's, the respondent's attention, and they actually want to answer you. You want to be able to follow up. Maybe give them some advance notice that you're actually sending a survey. Perhaps you could get someone to sponsor your survey, a company that's well known, or an individual that's well known. And you might want to key mail questionnaires with codes, like jot something on the back of the envelope so you can tell who you originally sent the survey to. Email surveys. Well, they're through the email. Ways to contact respondents include a questionnaire in the body of the email, and you distribute the questionnaire as an attachment and use a hyperlink within the body of the email. What's an advantage to email? Well, it's fast. Lower distribution and processing costs, fast turnaround time, flexible, very flexible, and less handling of paper questionnaires. However, not all email systems have the same capacity, and that is a disadvantage. Internet surveys. That's a self-administered questionnaire posted on a website. You might have seen SurveyMonkey, things like that. The respondents provide answers to questions displayed online by highlighting a phrase, clicking an icon, or keying in an answer. Text message surveys. You can use short message service or multimedia service. It's the newest survey approach. And as you know, everybody texts these days, so it's probably going to be more and more popular as time goes on. It actually has the same advantages and disadvantages of mobile phone surveys, and you're likely to see more applications of this in the near future. So you want to choose the appropriate survey approach. Questions to be answered. Is the assistance of an interview necessary? Are respondents interested in the issues being investigated? Will cooperation be easily attained? How quickly is the information needed? Will the study require a long and complex questionnaire? And most importantly, how large is the budget? And there are ethical issues. Many ethical issues apply to survey research. Respondents' right to privacy. You do not want to deceive your respondents. Respondents' right to be informed, a need for confidentiality. You cannot share respondents' answers with anyone else, and you must keep your information locked and put away and destroyed after so many years after you actually do your research. And the need for honesty when you're collecting data, and the need for objectivity in reporting data. Now, need for honesty in collecting data, you want to be upfront. You do not want to deceive your respondents. And the need for objectivity in reporting data is when you are actually going through and determining, kind of creating your conclusions and determining what you have to remain unbiased. That's what's most important in research. You have to, no matter what you think, you cannot interject yourself into the equation. Well, I hope you have enjoyed this PowerPoint presentation, and I know it went by very fast, but there were quite a few things I wanted to touch on, and probably much more in the text that you will want to read. Please remember that the text is there to enhance this PowerPoint presentation. This is not standalone. The PowerPoint is only to, kind of give you an overview of different research topics, but it will be up to you to make sure that you read the chapters. Thank you for watching this PowerPoint presentation, and I do hope you have a great day. Thank you.